Good morning, everybody. This is the right side of campus for Thursday, November 8th, 2018. I'm your host, the big man on campus, the man, the myth, the motherfucking legend. Here with my co-host, Donnie Rightside. Donnie, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Thursday, NFL football. What's not to like going on here? Just wish you had some college basketball games to go over as opposed to these last 2 days. But looks like some help's going to be on the horizon this weekend. Big card, obviously, with college football, NFL football. Let's get started, have some fun, some good morning topics to go over. See what we can do.
Welcome into everyone out there listening. As always, do us a favor. If you're on Twitter, hit the retweet button. It's a great way to get it out to people that might not know we're here. I know all of you, or most of you, have Twitter, and I know all of you tweet away at night, so make sure you're hitting that retweet button. Retweeting is great because it goes to the followers that we don't have that maybe you have. So
Yes,
they
all your
can
burner
see the
accounts.
show.
Get them out there. Yeah.
Correct. They could see the show, and that would add to the bottom line here at the channel. So if you're new to the channel here, you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, welcome in, and make sure you all hit the like button as well. That's very important and integral to all the show's success. We'll start out with getting this out of the way because I'm sure we'll have much and plenty of gloating from Donnie Rightside, who, again, had a good call. But hey, listen, you can't always be right. Even Michael Jordan missed once in a while. Northern Illinois gets the job done against Toledo, and I was surprised. I thought we'd see better efforts out of both teams last night. Really, it was a night of upsets in the MAC. NIU beats Toledo fairly easily. Look, I mean, Toledo's defense really is poor. I mean, you're giving up 38 to that offense, ugly stuff. And in the other game, Miami of Ohio jumped out to a big lead. Ohio tried to make it interesting, but to no avail. NIU and Miami both with big. And I guess they weren't underdogs necessarily in both games, but I think they were underdogs to everyone else. I don't think a lot of people thought NIU and Miami would both win last night.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you in that situation. It seems like we get those every once in a while out of Ohio where, like, it just doesn't go right for their offense. Like, Rourke is just not hitting on target. And last night was one of those nights, and you might have switched teams and switched sides because Miami of Ohio's offense was moving in the first half, got out to that big lead, sort of sat on it, were able to get the victory. That game actually stays under the number, too. I remember watching the game last night saying, yeah, look, it looks like it might go over there because I thought it had a decent shot to stay under the 59. Just squeaks under that number. And then you're looking at the Toledo game, which, again, it was cold, windy conditions. It's a shame that you can't switch up teams, Jeff, because if you put NIU's defense with a legitimate MAC offense, that's a pretty good NCAA football team. But as we know, you can't just actually do that. They lean on their defense. They were very good in that game overall, and about what I expected out of that transition. I didn't expect it to be that big of a win. I thought they maybe would win by 4 to 7 points, somewhere in that type of range, but they look pretty good doing it. NIU back on defense, playing some good ball.
Yeah, you're totally right. Von Polo, your best show's on Sunday when most people are off. Oh, really? I didn't know people are off work on Sundays. Yeah, listen, bro.
I'm not off
we
on
gotta,
Sundays. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not either. We got to do shows consistently, man. That's how the channels work. Donnie, you have to realize. I mean, here's the thing about this show, right? So we're on at 7 a.m. on the West Coast. We're on against other shows, right, Donnie? That are out there as well. I mean, it's not easy to get, it's tough to get a dedicated audience for a morning show, Donnie, and we've done that. So I'm proud of it. I'm proud of everything we do. We have our gambling show in the afternoon. Is there a sports gambling show on the radio that's strictly sports betting? Do they take calls? I'm proud of what we do. I'm proud of going over all the card on Sunday and Saturday. That's what we do. That's what I do. That's what Donnie does. I'm proud of that. Let's keep it moving here. Bryce Harper turns down a $300 million contract from the Washington Nationals. And listen, I've heard through the grapevine, the Philadelphia Phillies are the favorite to sign Bryce Harper. He turns down a big offer. Wants to test the market and see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't really leaked out too much because from what you were getting, even before the World Series ended, is Bryce Harper already picked his baseball team. He signed, sealed, and delivered. It's amazing they're able to keep this under wraps for how long they've done it. But I think the Phillies were the odds-on favorite all along to guaranteed getting one or the other, maybe even both, between Machado and Bryce Harper. It's a no-brainer. They have a low payroll, big market city, huge revenue team. They were saving up their pennies to do stuff like this because that ownership group, A, has money, and B, you see the dwindling numbers. Like, remember it used to be, Jeff, look, put a winning product out there, people are going to come. They're not going to come see the Philadelphia Phillies. You strike out 19 times a night. You need a superstar in there to try to drive that environment.
Amen. And look, if you get both those two, that's impressive stuff. I could tell when Big Man has a good day of the card before. The thing is, I didn't, though. I lost both plays. Maybe I'm just happy. Brashawn, maybe, is that what it is, Donnie? Because I didn't win yesterday, so maybe.
Yeah. Hey, it is. Look, you just got to keep rolling with the punches, man. Yep.
But as far as my happy mood, I'm just chipper. Why doesn't anyone notice that this is Jeff and Donnie's full-time job? Their grind isn't 9 to 5. Exactly. Thank you, Forrest.
24/7. My wife doesn't think I have a job. You know what I mean? Oh, look at you. You're always on your phone and doing this and that, hanging out. Yeah, I'm always on my phone for information, not to be a gakado, Jeff.
Most days, Donnie, I do 5 or 6 shows a day, and then I have to cut in there through going to the gym and all this different shit. Again, most people think this is easy, but again, it's not. I mean, it's just like a regular job. So, and again, like most people, I don't get a 401k or a pension or medical insurance or any of that stuff. So, yeah, Donnie, we have to kind of we have decent careers, but there's other things you have to contend with. So. We don't get if we don't win at the end of the week, sometimes it's not good. So you got to do what you got to do. Let's move it on here. Jalen Rose is in the news, and I'll tell you what, Donnie, there's no person on the planet in sports media that is more talks more about the past than Jalen Rose. I mean, everybody's not on his level because they didn't play on the 90s with him and the Fab Five. He made a pretty dumb comment yesterday saying that Zion Williamson wouldn't have started on their Fab Five team because, they were so good. And I'm sure you wouldn't take minutes from Jimmy King what is his deal? Why is he always like this? He's like,
everything was always better in the past. I mean, you know that. And then looking at, Jalen Rose, but Jeff, you have to say all those titles that the Fab Five won. Like, could he have broken through? Because didn't they win like 2, 3, 4 national titles? The Fab Five.
I don't think they won any.
They didn't win shit. That's the whole point. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if you're one of those, like if Christian Laettner, if Laettner comes out on Duke and goes, you know what? My man wouldn't even have started on our back-to-back championship team.
Right.
Because you know what? He's one of the single best players to ever play. A at Duke, but B college basketball, and has the rings to prove it.
Overrated.
You know what? That makes sense. Yes, the Fab Five was extremely overrated. Didn't win jack.
Like I get what they culture wise,
they
were
for
me,
fun. They were really good. Really good. But again, at the end of the day, they didn't win jack.
Right. It's kind of like Allen Iverson. Like, I look at Allen Iverson as, other than Michael Jordan, probably the most influential culture basketball player ever, as far as culture is concerned. I mean, he was just, everything you see now in the NBA was because of Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson changed the way they dressed in the NBA. He changed what was acceptable in the NBA. That was the same thing in Fab Five. They it was, they acted different. They were a little bit more glitzy and glammy and flashy. But the truth of the fucking matter is, they didn't win anything. Nothing. So I don't know where he comes across acting like he's high and mighty. Listen, I had my reservations about Zion Williamson, and I think if you are comparable basketball mind, you understand the game, you understand recruiting, and you understand things about it. There are holes in his game, and there was holes in his game. There's no secret that he's overweight at times, and he's a bigger kid. That could get out of hand sometimes. He has an issue shooting jump shots at times. Can he fix that? Sure he can. And when he does, he will be the best player in the country. It's little things. But if there's people out there, oh, he's the best player in the country, how could nobody see this? We did see it. He's a great player. But this comment is stupid. I mean, it's a dumb comment. And not for nothing, Jalen. I mean, you didn't win anything. So shut up. Seriously. What else do we have here? Any other comments on that, Donnie?
No, no. I mean, look, they were entertaining. What did they do? Freshman year, they went to the final against Duke and got beat. And then the very next year, they go to the final again and they get beat by the ACC again, North Carolina. Very talented group. But, let's not forget also, Chris Webber. Remember back in the day, like they had the Fab 530 for 30. And everybody's like, man, we walk down the street and everybody has our jerseys. We have no money. Then it turns out years later, Chris Webber's taking hundreds of thousands of dollars from boosters out there allegedly. So, look, I think everybody all worked out well. They made a ton of money in their career, but you can't look back at a young kid making his first game appearance and say, well, he couldn't even have started on our team. All right, well.
Yeah, and look, on the other hand, I mean, it is one game. I mean, Duke looked great. But I'm hearing Duke's going to run the table and they're not going to lose and they're going to go all the way to the title and win and no one's even going to come close. I mean, give it a fucking rest. I mean, they're good, but it was one game. They were great and they played terrific. But Donnie, you know better than me. You have some nights where you just make every shot you shoot.
Injuries are going to come down the table too. How many injuries have we seen at Duke that didn't pan out over the years? The Kyrie Irvings of the world. I mean, you have big injuries. This is no longer like a 20-game college basketball season. From the start of their exhibition season all the way through the tournament, they're playing like 50 games. It takes a while, man. Some of these teams
and
get
Donnie,
it together.
again, it is very rare. Now, other than you and me, it is very rare to be perfect all the time. It doesn't happen often. There are only few individuals that actually are able to comprehend and do it. He's overweight at times, ? Yeah, he is. He gains if he gains 10 pounds, he's going to be overweight at that point. He's got to lose weight. I mean, that's something he's got to get in hand there. Take it from someone who's had weight problems. And he doesn't obviously have the weight problems I do, but he is the second. I mean, other than Boban Marjanovic, he'd be the biggest player in the NBA. So you just don't want that to get out of hand. The Robert Tractor Trailer, the Bryant Reeves types, that kind of thing. Donnie,
Jeff, wait,
Dez
I got a real
Bryant.
quick basketball question for you. While you were away on the radio show the other day, I had a couple minutes to speak on the Ball family and the kid going back. I guess it's
Sure.
LaMelo going back to school.
Yeah.
I don't really want to bring up a basketball point, but if you've seen the rounds going around with the center that's 7'7",
Yeah, he looks
who
like
he looks like a
an NBA
video
Live character.
game villain, like out of nowhere. At first, when I first saw it, I thought it was like a robot or they were just having fun.
Yeah.
Is that guy real or is he just from like a different dimension that we're looking into?
No, he's a real person. He plays for that Spire Academy, and he looks kind of like somebody tweeted yesterday. He looks like a character in like an NBA Live career mode that you just forgot to like finish.
Like when they have like the still shot where like he's standing next to his coach and he has like a bent knee and like his neck is like shrinked down.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like a human being. It's really weird.
No, it's interesting. Yeah, he's like 7'2". He's a really again he's one of those just really tall kids that like you kind of just put. I think his name's like Barbowski or Bobrowski or something. He's from like Romania or somewhere like that. So yeah, he's a big guy and big kid. So yeah, I mean LaMelo's back in high school. He'll play in Ohio. You know who he reminds you of, that big kid, Donnie? George Murasan. He kind of
Yeah, but at least Murasan had some meat to him. Like this guy looks like he's running on like he literally runs up the court like a praying mantis you would see like in your backyard try to run. That's what he looks like. Looks like it's almost like painful or I'm just waiting for like that, femur to just snap in half at any time.
Yeah, he does. I mean, Donnie, listen, take a guess at how much he weighs, that kid. That big
He
kid.
can't weigh more than 160.
He's 7'7", 195.
Oh, he's one. Yeah, I guess by default you would have to be at
Wow.
7'7". Yeah.
That's amazing. I've never seen dimensions like that. That's wild. Wow. So yeah, there you go. Big kid. He's the tallest European basketball player. Yeah, size 17 shoes. Amazing. So yeah, LaMelo is back in high school. Dez Bryant goes to the Saints, and I got to be honest, I think this might resurrect his career a little bit, Donnie. It's no secret that Dez Bryant started struggling when Dak Prescott became the quarterback at the Cowboys. Now he's a real quarterback. He's in a dome. I think Dez has a little resurrection here.
Well, I mean, he's got to be open by default, right? And they have so many weapons on the New Orleans Saints where you can't just say, like back in the day, like 5 years ago, like Dez was a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. He's no longer that, but you can use him in certain spots. Like if you're going to go down in the red zone and have a tight formation, fullback in the game, Alvin Kamara in the game, or, Ingram in the game, and you just send him out as a wide receiver one-on-one, he can post somebody up in the red zone. Don't know how effective he's actually going to be in the passing game, like, between the 20s, because he's much slower, a poor route runner, and doesn't catch the football that well. But if you use him in spots, which they can afford to do, he doesn't have to play 40 snaps a game. He could play 5 snaps a game and say, look, we're going to do these 3 to 4 routes in the red zone, post up, and let's see if we can get you the football. He can help the Saints, but maybe only 5 to 10 plays a game, so to speak.
Yeah. I think he'll do something. By the way, Dez Bryant, Donnie, we sometimes talk about wives and girlfriends of athletes in the show.
Yeah.
Very nice. Dez Bryant has that like girl next door type of wife. Seems like that good woman that cooks for you and, folds your clothes.
He'll beat you with that hat. He'll take his hat off and beat you with it if you don't give him a good meal.
I hope he doesn't, because she seems like a total angel. Good for her. Beautiful. Good for Dez. Donnie, didn't like Dez. A lot of people don't like Dez Bryant. I don't know that I see it. I've always I never had an issue with the guy. I've always like Odell Beckham too. I don't mind him either. A lot of people don't like his temperament and his attitude, but I don't mind Dez Bryant. I don't see the hate for him.
Yeah, I know. I guess just coming up the prima donna, getting thrown out of college, and then going to the NFL, and he goes to the Cowboys. So I mean, you're always going to have a target on your back. When you're like an outspoken guy on the Dallas Cowboys, you're automatically a target. So
yeah, I guess it is kind of a hateable thing. He's
imagine
kind
that
of
in college
prima
too, Jeff, where you have all these runners given like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I believe Dez Bryant got kicked out of Oklahoma State for having dinner with Deion Sanders. Amazing, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, we'll get to the Panthers Steelers game, guys. Come on, we know how the show works here. Jared Schrader, I'm 3-0 to start college basketball. Call me Jeff Nader. Hey, nice work.
Fantastic.
Good for you.
Yes.
Good for you. Final story today, Donnie. Craig Carton, convicted on all counts, guilty on all counts, on all fraud charges, and will go to prison now. Craig Carton, if you're unaware of who that is, Craig Carton is a New York radio host. He was radio host WFAN with Boomer Esiason for many years, and is now going to go away after basically, Donnie, what he did was he bought he got investors, and basically said that he had high-end concert tickets, Madonna and all these different acts. He would get large amounts of money for them, and then he wouldn't give them the tickets. They were fake. He was defrauding investors. He also was getting loans from shady characters, not paying them back, and those people, and then would go to the feds about it. And he was found guilty, Donnie. No real issue here. Shut and closed case. It was probably one of the quickest cases in America. And Craig's going to probably get some decent jail time here.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting when you look at it, because he did make a lot of money, but obviously gambling over his head. No recreational gambling, Jeff, where you're making that much money. Say, let me put a couple $100 here and there and have some fun, get in debt with the wrong people. But usually with the wrong people, Jeff, they're going to squeeze you a little bit. You go on the payment plan. But he made enough money without a steady income for like the next 10 to 15 years, where he probably could have gotten out from under it. But a get-rich-quick scheme when you're a big-name guy as is, you're going down. You're going down. And especially, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, a lot of these gambling debts were probably not quote-unquote legal gambling debts. So I'm sure they probably would have settled for less and just been done with it because of the amount of money that he owed. Just an interesting situation about a guy making a lot of money that gambled it away. And it just happens in life. John Daly, the golfer, he's another one. Hey, man, lost like $50 million in my career. It's like, what? Like all that money you have, what are you even gambling at that price for?
Yeah, he spent nearly the $7 million he collected from investors on gambling and personal expenses. In order to win the money, Carton fabricated contracts and emails, including one email that was doctored by Carton to look like it had come from Fred Mangione, Brooklyn Sports Entertainment, which owns the Barclays Center. So basically, he was, messing with emails to make them look like bigger ones than they were. They also detailed, Donnie, where a strip club manager at Sapphire gave Carton high interest loans. So he didn't even have enough money then, Donnie. He was actually taking more loans out, as much as 500 grand a pop to finance casino trips. That relationship fell apart when he didn't repay the $500,000 loan. In that point, the strip club manager decided to testify against him. So you're not going to pay me, I'm going to rat you out. That's how it works.
Yeah, and looking at the other WFAN stuff, Jeff. I mean, you're talking about now Mike Francesa is now poking fun, and from the retirement to coming back, stealing people's jobs. In the mid-afternoon, they're not happy about it. Then the morning show talks the mess on him. The morning guys are fist fighting in the parking lots in New York City and after Rutgers football games, and you got Joe Beningo out there just grabbing people in the office. WFAN should have its own reality show for the nudniks from morning till night that operate airwaves.
Well, listen, Mike is at a point in his career where Mike has I think Mike has to take a step back and figure out, just go do your app. Go do the app, and you don't need to be on the radio.
A couple hours a day, hang out. Yeah.
Yeah, because Mike is at the point now. Mike doesn't even go into the studio. Mike does all his stuff from his house.
Mike does, so he doesn't even go in anymore now. Yeah.
Right.
He's at the same studio. I'm assuming it's the same studio that he does his app from, right?
Yeah, it's down in his basement. He has like a studio, and he doesn't need to do the radio anymore. It was just a thing for him where I think he got, he wanted to have a little bridge to where the app went out. He should do the app. He should get on after games. He should do the app on Saturdays and Sundays. But yeah, I mean, Mike is not happy with Gio, and Gio's doing impressions of him, and Mike is basically an older version of me. He's I'm gonna guess a cancer. He's insecure. He doesn't like when people talk about him. And he lashes out at those people. But Mike has become a little rude. I mean, some of the calls that call in. I mean, Mike is rude to me as far as what I think is rude. I think he's been out of line in some of his comments lately. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Beningo's back, but you have people fighting, like you said. People mention is also as far as what will happen to Carton. According to the sentencing guidelines, Donnie, I would say he'd probably get like 5 years, maybe. I mean, something like that. Again, we don't know, but
there's probably going to be a lot of people that can pay and cannot pay, so to speak. If he has some money and he pays restitution, as well as I do, the government wants their money more than anything, or the people that have to get paid back and the fines or whatever it would be. So as long as he can pay it back. But I don't even know what I know it's all 45 years, but that's the same thing where you technically could get like 30 years for stealing a candy bar,
He ain't going to get 30 years. I think he's going to get 5 years, 48 months, 60 months, something like that. And he'll do 4 years of it. That's what's going to happen to Craig Carton. You look at Billy Walters. I mean, similar situation, let's say. He bilked investors, basically. This isn't a Ponzi scheme or anything, but
well, he had insider trading. He actually made money for people on that. At least Billy Walters was making people money, not saying, "Hey, man, got those Streisand tickets? Yup, front row, 25 grand. Where's my tickets? We had a problem, but next time she comes to town, we'll get you."
Sure. Yeah, this is more like a fraud. This is a securities.
I didn't realize it was that much money. My goodness, $7 million.
And that's the thing, Donnie. Sentencing guidelines would go off of how much was bilked, basically. So. Yeah, it's you know what, Donnie, you know who it's sad for? Craig Carton has like 5 kids, I think 4 or 5 kids. They're all in the teenage years. The federal government is not going to just say, "Oh, okay, Craig, well, listen, you have kids, so we're not going to put you." There are no federal prisons in New York City other than one, and it's a holding area. They're going to send Craig. His family's going to have to travel to see him. It's a shame for
wherever.
Yeah. They'll put him out. They'll put him up. By like Vermont or somewhere up there, and his kids will have to go travel to see him. That's a shame. It's sad, Donnie, when you have kids at that age and their father's not around. That 12, 13 age. Kids. That's a shame. You hate to see stuff like that. So yeah. We'll see what Craig's fate is here in a couple weeks when he's sentenced. Donnie, let's move on here. But yeah, would you be in on a reality show with WFAN? I'd be in on that. Definitely.
It just seems like Animal House all in one place. I mean, you got guys isn't it everything you want? You have the old guy that's on top that's just angry at everybody. You have the guy who threatened to leave, and management's begging him not to leave. And I'm going to leave, and I'm going to come back and take talent's time who tried to build their stuff. And I'm going to make fun of the morning show. And then they're going to get so mad that they're going to fist fight each other. Oh, it's unbelievable stuff.
Nuke Worker, first time post. This show and channel's fantastic. Thank you. Hey, thanks, Nuke Worker. Appreciate that. That's kind of you. Hope you enjoy the show here. Let's get into Donnie NFL here tonight. A little Thursday night action, and about time, Donnie. A good game, let's say. Hopefully, Pittsburgh
Supposedly.
-3, total 51. Now, Donnie, I'm seeing 3 -20, so that could indicate that this may go up to 3.5. Interesting. Carolina and this total at 51. Let me ask you, Donnie. First of all, when was the last big game we've had on Thursday night? Have there been any good ones? I'm trying to
Yes, the
remember.
Eagles versus the Giants, Jeff, was a huge game.
Yeah, when was? Yeah, I mean, like good. Like, I was it that Rams Vikings game? I guess or what
Yeah, I
was
mean,
that?
again, or go back to game one, which wasn't actually really a true Thursday night game. The Eagles and Falcons came down to the last play of the game. But yeah, no, I hear where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, both teams are coming into the game here playing well. Steelers have won and covered 4 straight. Panthers have won and covered 3 straight. Both teams playing some good football right now. Really nice to see. Again, both these defenses aren't great. I know they've improved and they're looking better. Steelers have actually started to really kind of get going a little bit. You look at the Steelers; they're the healthier team in this game. You look at some injuries, couple notables, Torrey Smith. They also could be without Eric Reed, Mario Addison, and some others. Steelers have virtually no injuries other than
Yeah,
Le'Veon
Gilbert. I
Bell.
think Gilbert's. Yeah, I think Gilbert's going to set out a tackle, but I don't understand where this concept came in. Like, if you're an injured defense, you're not going to be very good. Since the Steelers are no longer injured, they are an elite defense. So this whole notion that
Yeah.
the Steelers don't really play really good defense. Have you been
Well, the
watching them
thing
the
is,
past 4 to 5 games? Anybody out there?
people also like think back to the Steelers with the Von Kirkland, the Troy
Yeah,
Polamalu defense.
yeah,
They're not
I hear
that,
you.
but they're
Joey
serviceable
Porter
and
and
good.
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, we
Here's
we
a
look at like the last couple defenses or teams they played, like Atlanta, 262 in the air, 62 on the ground, barely over 300 yards. Cincinnati Bengals with AJ Green, 213 in the air, 62 yards on the ground, under 300 yards for the game. The Cleveland Browns, 74 yards on the ground, 163 in the air, barely 200 yards. 61 yards, 207 in the air versus Baltimore. This is an absolutely elite defense right here in the NFL right now.
And this, I think, what we learned last week is this is a very good defensive line. And look, Cam Newton is playing really well this year. We've talked about his,
Yes.
MVP like numbers, but you got to get him under pressure. You got to get him moving around. And this obviously offensive line is okay. They're not great. That's going to be obviously look. There's not a lot of difference between these two teams. They're both very good. You'd expect Donnie. Antonio Brown, he'll be held up. Bradbury's actually played pretty well against other elite receivers. But Donnie, I'm looking at some of the trends here. The Panthers have allowed the most touchdowns to tight ends in the league. Okay, I mean they've allowed a lot of completions, a lot of touchdowns. I like this Vance McDonald kid a lot. He looks like that typical, Todd Heap, Mark Chmura type of receiver, big kid. And hurt you if you get after him. He might have a big game in this game. I like the Steelers. I mean, I know it seems like a lot of people do as far as the number. What do you think here, Donnie? Public, sharp stuff.
Like like again, I like the Carolina Panthers. I think they're a good ball club, but I honestly I'm scratching my head here that there's threes out here on a Thursday night home football team with a team playing megawatt hot football like the Pittsburgh Steelers are. They're wiping teams off the field. They're healthy on defense now. They're going to get after Cam Newton. They have a back end secondary that's healthy, that's locking teams down. I guess that would look, and I always still like preface it, but I do think Carolina Panthers are a really good football team. I do. But taking a look at games on the road for the Carolina Panthers, at Atlanta, L. At the Washington Redskins, L. At the Eagles. Look, you did beat the Eagles, but you were getting freight trained for 3.5 quarters, 17-0. Now you're going back on the road again in this environment. I guess I'm missing something, Jeff, to be honest with you. But I don't think, blowout or not blowout, I would be shocked if the Steelers lose this football game the way they're playing and they're at home on a Thursday night game. Carolina's getting way too much love in this spot, just being honest.
Yeah, I agree with you here. I think if if you're looking towards the Steelers, definitely want to get on this now. I think we could see this move up to 3.5 here.
I mean, it was
I agree.
fives. Like all the money coming in on Carolina on the road Thursday night against an upper echelon football team. They're not going on the road and playing Cleveland, and the line is 3. You're playing the Steelers in their own house, a decided disadvantage on a short travel week against a red hot defense out here. And Jeff, a team that doesn't play well on the road to begin with.
And it looks like the public likes this underdog. I mean, people like the Panthers. They see what's going on with Cam Newton. They see they're flashy and that kind of thing. But this Steeler defense is playing really well. I mean, Donnie, their last couple games, Falcons, Bengals, Ravens, those are all good offenses, actually really good offenses. And this defense is held tough. I agree with you. I think the play of the day on the show will be the Steelers here.
Yes,
I like this.
I might, Jeff. I'm gonna have to get in the lab this afternoon and maybe concoct something out here that we can just give out of some free money tonight. But it looks too easy and say, well, Don, hey man, you're not reading. Look, we went over it yesterday, Jeff, on the roundtable about chasing steam and saying, well, if it opened at 5 and it's at 3, there's a good reason. No, there's no good reason for that. There's no reason. Half these sports books move on air anyway. That means, oh, look at that sports book down the street. They just moved to 3.5. Change it. Change your numbers. Change your numbers. Boss, we didn't get any bets on this game. Change your numbers anyway. Don't look at that nonsense. Trust me. Do your own capping on this.
Yeah, I mean, you can still get 3 minus 120 at 5 dimes and bookmaker. Yeah, I think that, just bet also. I think that's got to be the play here. You look at all the other books, Donnie. This is up to 3.5. So, if you're willing to pay a couple extra cents, you can get that hook move. Where else are we at here? I'm not saying Carolina wins, but I think Tejas is a good game. This is a good game. Yeah, it should be a good game.
Should be a good game. It's actually to me, Jeff, the best game of the weekend, and it should be like look, we like the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday night for personal reasons. This game should be the Sunday night football game. This is the best game of the week. Yes.
Plus, it's a home team, Donnie. We're betting on a home team on Thursday night. That's where you want to be.
Yes, a home favorite. And a slight. We're not talking a home favorite minus 16. A home favorite that you just, from this line is 3, you're just anticipating the Steelers winning this football game. Hey, look, I used to have a good read in the NFL, Jeff, and I must not be reading this correctly where this Carolina love is just pushing this line lower. I don't know.
Yep, I agree. Let's do us a favor. Let's move down to college basketball thoughts there. We're still on morning headlines here. We'll move down to our college basketball thoughts. Yeah, last night, not a ton of stuff going on. I thought a couple observations. I think Cincinnati's right what I thought they'd be. They're a team with a decent defense, though a terrible offense. You cannot lose the type of caliber player you lost last year in Jacob Evans and Kyle Washington and players like that and expect to get back to normal. Mick Cronin does not recruit good offensive players generally. Last year was just kind of one of those things where everything kind of came to a head. He's had a couple good players in his career, Lance Stevenson and Sean Kilpatrick and players like that. But overall, this is always a team that struggles offensively. Last year was a bit of a mirage. And Ohio State looked solid last night. Impressive work by them. What else did we see last night? It was just really kind of a light card. We'll look forward to some better action this week. Donnie, any large observations that you had last night?
In college basketball?
Yep. Maybe anything you saw or something? I don't know.
No, I didn't watch I haven't watched very much of college basketball yet. It's hard for me during football season, because like days like last night, which I don't have any ton of action on, just little educated guest plays just to have some fun with those games in the MAC. Shut those games off at halftime, went to bed, got a good night's sleep, woke up. I mean, I get so stressed out Saturday and Sunday, Jeff, at my age. It takes me like 5 days to get re-energized to sit there and stress all day, Saturdays and Sundays. I enjoy my midweek relaxation, Jeff. Hasn't included college basketball just yet.
I love how Donnie acts like he's like in his 70s. Dude, you're like 40. Donnie acts like he's like
I'm getting rested and rustled. Like if I go to bed late and my kids got me up at like 5 in the morning, I got a puppy that's in your face, wants to go out. Like I'm just a tired old man at this point, man. I don't have that energy anymore.
Couple of notable scores last night. TCU almost loses to Cal Bakersfield, 66-61. Bakersfield was leading most of this game, and TCU's ranked coming into the season. So bit of a scare there for Jamie Dixon's crew. How about the Bucknell Bison? They upset St. Bonaventure last night in a high-scoring affair, 88-85. And that's about it. There wasn't a ton. Arizona beat up on Houston Baptist last night by 30. Texas A&M did not cover. How about this? Savannah, Donnie, this is an interesting team, Savannah State. Not a lot of people know this, but this is Savannah State's last year in Division One. They're moving back. It's kind of the swan song for that crew down there. They're an exciting team. Play up tempo. They're one of the fastest tempo teams in the country. I'm not going to say losing by 16 is good, but look, they were 30-point underdogs. Decent effort by them last night. But that's pretty much it. Not much on the board tonight either. So we will obviously kind of just head. The only game I kind of considered tonight. There's a couple. Connecticut maybe against Morehead State. I like this Connecticut team. I'm higher on them than most. The only thing I worry about with them is depth. There's not a ton of depth on this team, and I wonder how Danny Hurley will kind of figure that out. Illinois. I think the line's just a bit too high for you to get involved there. If that's 11.5, maybe I'm a bit more interested. Evansville was gutted last year. They now kind of have to face the facts of, they're not going to be as good defensively. They're not as good offensively anymore. Some of their better players are gone now. They have a new coach. So, we'll see. We'll see what we have on the card tonight. Donnie, let's move down to some college football tonight. We have one game here, and it's in the ACC. It's Wake at NC State. Wake, a big underdog here, 19-point underdogs, total 67.5. You wonder where Wake, Donnie's going to go at quarterback. Sam Hartman out for the season now. Is it Kendall Hinton? Who's the quarterback tonight for them? Kendall Hinton's been playing receiver. So it's probably going to be your other quarterback, and that's against a team in NC State who, look, it's a shame Hartman's not playing in this game, because if he was, I would be very interested in the over in this game. You look at NC State, they've given up 400 or more passing yards in 2 straight games. They've had some trouble, Donnie, getting stops, and we all know Wake is going to have trouble getting stops.
Yeah, Sam Hartman ran that offense pretty well at a 100-mile-an-hour pace, was able to run a little bit, throw a little bit. He could do it all. Kendall Hinton, you're right, Jeff. He was the guy that used to come in as not a wildcat guy, but like a change-of-pace guy, a quarterback, very electric, but he can't throw to save his life. So if you're just going to go back there and maybe not run as fast a tempo and just think you're going to run it all night long, that's not good for you over-under. So as soon as I saw Sam Hartman out of the football game, I was off that. NC State should win this game and win it fairly easily, because again, Wake Forest is going to be one-dimensional in this football game, as opposed to at least being able to hit Dortch on some deep balls. And they have some talented wide receivers on Wake, but I don't think Hinton's either up to the task. And their third-string quarterback, who I believe, Jeff, which I got a good peek at in the Clemson game, he was the guy they're so afraid of that they just wanted him to run it down to 0 and hand the football off. So Not a good look here for overall. And I know Kendall Hinton, who is a running quarterback, Jeff, coming in a little bit banged up already. Who's to say he plays the whole game? Or maybe Wake Forest says, hey, you know what? NC State's up 21. No mas. We've quit a few times this year. We're going to quit again tonight. So I'm out on Wake Forest.
And here's what you're seeing with Wake. I mean, when they're stepping up in competition, they have not played well. I mean, you look at Clemson, they scored 3. Florida State's, not great, but they're better. They only scored 17. They scored just 21 as 24 at Syracuse. Now they have no quarterback. I think they're going to really struggle in this game. I think NC State, this could be a good time for you to get back to business. And Donnie, this team, as far as Wake's concerned, this team has not thrown the ball well all season. I mean, they're only completing about 54% of their passes. You look at NC State, what do they do well? Stop the run. With a young quarterback, a decent defensive line, I have a feeling NC State's gonna really kind of tee off on Wake. A young quarterback, they're good against the run. When you're a young quarterback, Donnie, what do you want to be able to do? Hand the football off, run the ball. They're not going to have a lot of success. And I'm not sure that this quarterback can make throws to really bother that NC State defense. And you look at home, they've been very good. Only giving up about 18 points a game. They're 5-0 at home this year. I hate to say it. I kind of like NC State here. I think they kind of work well defensively against Wake. I don't think Wake has much they can do to exploit. If Hartman played, maybe I have a little bit more better thoughts on Wake, but couple the defense with limited quarterback play, it's hard to get involved here with Wake.
No, you're right. You're right. It's a bad football game on a Thursday night. They had a standalone game, which maybe at the beginning of the season you thought would be a little bit better, but you can't keep up with injuries and bad football overall. So I don't really have a great opinion on this game other than good luck if you're just going to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to back Hinton out here. We're going to see if we can run read option the entire football game with a horrendous defense and try to hang on.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work if you're them. So good luck with that, but probably not going to work. Yeah, other than that, there's not a lot going on. You got 2 football games tonight. You obviously have your NBA cards, your NHL cards, which you look at the NBA card, only 4 games there. Big NHL, but Donnie and I don't get much involved with the NHL. I'd obviously recommend some other shows here on the channel. Donnie,
by the way, Jeff,
Houston,
news coming
Oklahoma
across
City
the wire.
tonight.
Hold on, real quick. Dez Bryant, 1-year contract with the New Orleans Saints that will pay him on a base salary of $600,000 for the rest of the season. So those out there that were saying, Dez is picking his spots, he's picking his spots, and he's playing for absolute pennies in the NFL. Have the mighty have fallen, Jeff, with that big contract he had.
Still making a lot of money for only 6 weeks.
More than that.
Also, I got to be honest. Well, it's week 10, isn't it? I mean, what do you have? 16 weeks.
They play 8 games. We got 8 games left, playing for under $100,000 a game. I might as well just sit it out if I'm Dez and try to maybe latch on with a team next year with a longer deal. Woo, man. I was surprised to see it that low.
I don't get your hate for Dez Bryant. I mean,
I don't have any hate for Dez Bryant, but look, that's for a guy. Jeff, this guy had one of the biggest contracts in football, wide receiver.
And I'm sure he
comes back making like a penny. That's amazing. Just weird to see.
Dude, listen, anyone want to pay me $100,000 a show? I'm interested. Get me.
You wouldn't be if you were making $5 million a show. You'd be like, get out of here with that.
Well, I think he's going to have to obviously come down to where he is in life. Also, listen, I'm sick of seeing Darren Sproles. I mean, Darren Sproles, retire already, man. I mean, you don't ever play.
Man. Yes, like we didn't make a move at the deadline. Like we could go on a little
because of you.
Here.
Yeah, I'm sick of it.
Supposed to be coming back, and you old man, you can't just tape up your leg. Man. Yeah, him and Sean Lee ought to be in a booth that the Booger Mobile comes to town, Jeff. Put those 2 in the Booger Mobile and just call the game with their hamstrings.
I mean, it's really kind of sickening. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of worrying. I mean, he never plays. There's always something wrong with this guy. He's brittle and broken, man. Also, Donnie, I mean, very sad news anymore in the world, man. 12 people killed at a Thousand Oaks, California bar and grill. I mean, Donnie, at what point are we as a country going to do? We can't. How do we protect ourselves from this kind of stuff? We have. What do we do here? I don't mean to get. I'm not kidding.
I mean, hey, maybe if we made murder illegal, everybody would stop killing each other. People are insane out there. They're going to do whatever they want, no matter what laws. If we could change the law, Jeff. If you kill somebody, you get 500 years in jail. People don't care. They're mentally crazy, man.
It's just I don't as a community, whoever you vote. I mean, it's just you're sick of seeing this stuff. Sick of seeing it. One of the people killed was a sergeant who was set to retire at the end of the year.
That dude saved a lot of people's lives. And can you imagine that? Like you hear other thoughts and stories and what's going through this guy's head. You obviously see movies like this. Like, hey, man, don't get hurt on your last week on the job before you retire. This guy's about to get 30 years in, a huge pension. He's got a family, and he's the one that says, I'm going in there. I'm stopping this right now. Some people, man, they're just straight up heroes that are just, thankless acts, which they put their life on the line by doing something like that. When I heard that story, like, dude, he's about to retire, and he's like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm here, and I'm going to save some people. Dudes like that are straight up heroes, and they should get, forget about retweeting whoever the shooter is, whoever he wants to be, because he obviously wanted to be famous by lighting up that bar. Forget that guy, man. Look at the people that actually did good. The people throwing chairs through windows and carrying injured people out and going back in to save people. That's the American spirit that I like to concentrate on, not the idiots that are doing the damage.
Well said. I couldn't have said it better myself. What a shame. Let's move on to a couple other things here. This was yesterday. I think we all saw it. heated exchange, Donnie, between Jim Acosta and Donald Trump. I don't want to say it was funny because I don't think that's a good way of putting it, but it should be entertaining, Donnie, but the Acosta Trump thing is kind of funny. I mean, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's like, and I talked about it a little bit on Twitter today, sending it out. It doesn't matter who you're voting for, what election cycle you have. It's like the WWE is being rewritten right now through social media, through CNN, through Fox News, through anything on Twitter that you see. It's absolutely astonishing that it's gone this far, because there used to be a sense of like decorum that you would have where, you're going to respect the president like you would respect your dad growing up, and next question, you move on. But everything is so combative. And I'm not even looking for, like, you saw like the Trump thing, and they take his credentials. But the 2020 presidential election cycle, Jeff, if you thought it was wild last with Hillary and Trump, it is going to be absolute mud. They're going to break records on CNN and Fox News with the amount of viewership you're going to get. And I'm going to be one of those guys, Jeff, right along with it every night, getting done your shows, popping it on, saying, what did these crazy dudes say today about it? And it's just going to be amazing to watch.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, I agree. We're going to have to create betting odds for what happens.
Like the Democratic primary, Jeff, you're going to have Elizabeth Warren fighting with, Beto O'Rourke fighting with, Cory Booker. It's going to be amazing TV. And I'm just hoping like Hillary Clinton puts her hat right back in the ring. Can you imagine the debates with all those people on stage? It's going to break Super Bowl records. It's going to be so much fun to watch.
I'll tell you though, if it's Booker against Trump, that'll be good stuff. Definitely.
Anybody going up against, because but just whoever's going to be left standing from the bloodbath that will be the Democratic primaries, it's going to be, they are going to step on each other just to get to that next level. It's going to be awesome to watch, man.
I also like Acosta because Acosta never gets away from like him being a journalist. Like yesterday, he's like, "Pardon me, ma'am." Like, and he's just funny. Something about him that makes me laugh. Like the way he asks questions and stuff. It's just funny.
There's a reason he's there. He reminds me a lot of like Benji from the Howard Stern show that just goes in there and like, who is this guy yelling and asking the most ridiculous questions? That's good radio.
The questions really aren't that ridiculous, though. I mean, he's asking legitimate questions, but he is fairly combative, which is, something that.
He has an agenda going in. Like Benji Bronk will go to like a porn convention and ask some ridiculous questions because they know people like, who is this idiot out here? That's what gets the ratings these days.
But
nobody would talk about that press conference if he wasn't acting the way he was.
Let me ask you something, Donnie. This is funny though, because you saw that his press credentials were pulled, right? Yeah. That's kind of why answer the question? You know it's going to be combative with him. I mean, how many other questions?
If you do have like 100 people out there trying to ask a question, you can't grandstand. Like you get your question and you move on. It can't just be like, dude, let me ask a couple questions here. It's like, no, look, I'm moving on. So. But it's theater. It's a lot of politics is theater now. So
it was funny too because he was like right in front of him, and Trump at one point looked like he was going to come off the stage and like.
I thought Trump left the mic and was like, "I'm just going to lay a beat down." But the best part about it is Trump left the mic and Acosta sat right down. I was like, "Oh man, that's pretty good."
You got to admit though, Donnie. I mean, this is the leader of the free world.
He shouldn't be getting treated like that though. Like it should be more decorum in there. Like he wants. I mean, he comes more from a publicity standpoint, but he's the president. Like you have to show respect regardless if you don't like the. I mean, you can't be just grand.
Nothing's ever his fault. Nothing's ever his fault.
It has nothing to do with that. But I mean, if the shoe was on the other foot, if somebody from Fox News, a couple years ago would stand up and hold up a press conference for Obama, CNN would be screaming as well, and they would have a right to do that because when you're the president, it doesn't matter. You still get that respect. That's all.
I love Acosta. I think he's hilarious. I think the interactions are funny back and forth. But all right, guys, we'll wrap it up here. Also, Sam Darnold injured as well. It looks like we're seeing here, which is come across the. Is
that actually a bad thing for the Jets? I actually had that game off my board, Jeff. Now I'm starting to flip through some pages there to see if I might be able to find a little bit of way to get on those Jets, even though how crazy that line looks.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, for the Jets, I mean, he's a young quarterback. You just kind of hope it's not anything long term. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Donnie, any other stories you missed? We're a bit early here. We have some time. If anyone has if anyone has a question or two they want answered, we'll maybe do a 5 minutes of couple questions here. We wrapped up. By the way, Donnie, you've not seen Breaking Bad. You're one of the no on Breaking Bad. You've never seen
it.
the
I
show.
haven't seen one episode. Nope, haven't seen one.
Okay, so that's a bit. I won't answer you that question. There's a rumor that there's going to be a movie about Breaking Bad. But you've never seen it, so you'd be out on that. Also, Donnie, we weren't on the air yesterday. We were on the roundtable. Yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of Roy Halladay. What a great pitcher he was, Roy Halladay. I always loved watching a Doc.
He was a horse, an absolute horse.
One of the
last grinders, Jeff, that said, "You know what? I'm going 9 innings. Leave me alone." One of the last of a dying breed. Yep.
Yep. I remember, the way Charlie Manuel managed him, and Charlie Manuel was a likable guy too. Charlie Manuel one of those guys you just hope good things happen to? I was just a big Manuel fan.
He's the type of guy. He lived in Haddonfield, New Jersey. If you're not familiar with that, an affluent area, but in a suburb. Charlie would go every other week into the barber shop in downtown Haddonfield to get a haircut. And if you came in there, he would stay in there for 2 to 3 hours and just answer simple questions. Hey, Charlie, what's up with Jim Thomey's hitting? He would break it down for the guy. It was a baseball lifer. If you saw him and just said, hey, Charlie Manuel, how you doing? And you asked him a legitimate question about what do you think about Cole Hamels? He would actually take the time and answer it for you and make sure you understand it. He's a great guy, man. Great guy.
Yeah, I always got a kick out of Charlie Manuel. Always good press conferences.
Yep. Couldn't understand a lot of the stuff he said. He's he has a lot of Ed Orgeron in him with his actually speaking mannerisms. That's a pretty good. Yeah, you're right.
Why don't you stop by my office? I'll be waiting on you.
Threaten to fight. Yeah. Yes, you couldn't push him around. There's press conferences, Jeff, that you could see right now on tape where he's like, meet me in my office. We'll see what's up. I mean, that was Uncle Charlie.
Yeah, Howard Eskin. That was legendary. Yep. He was the first person to stand up to Eskin. Also, Donnie, have you ever seen this was one random game where Chase Utley got I think thrown out of a game because he hit a catcher. He went up top and hit the catcher. And they asked Charlie after the game about Chase Utley ran from third to home and knocked the catcher out of out, and they threw him out of the game. And they asked Manuel about it after the game, and Manuel goes, well, I mean, this is baseball. I mean, we could throw a little rouge and makeup, and the catch could be, I don't want to get hit by him. It was I got to send you it. It is the most classic thing ever. Manuel he was really funny. Everything about him just was really funny. Why isn't he a manager? Why is he not a manager?
Old. Yeah, he's old. I mean, he's an old man now.
Is he?
Yeah, he's old. He's old, and Jeff, he's the farthest thing away from what you would say is an analytical manager. If you told him something like a percentage, he would tell you to shove it up your ass. Hey, you can't put this hitter up in this situation. Watch me do it. You know what I mean? He would never. Yeah. He wouldn't take that. That's why he probably can't be.
He was a good hitting coach, though, for manager.
Great manager. Yes, he was. Yep.
All right, guys. We will wrap this show up. Hope you have a great Thursday. Here on the channels, a couple things. We have the student section later today. We'll be on that. Me and Drew Martin and our friend Asher will join us. What else do we have going on? Oh, the show at 3 o'clock. How could I forget? 3 o'clock p.m., 2 p.m. Central, the closing line. All you football questions, give us a call live. We'll talk to you. We'll get your answers, get you some answers on those. And we'll have some fun on the Thursday show, Donnie. Also, Donnie, one thing we missed, Ian Book, injured, out for Florida State. Does that change your mind on can they stay undefeated?
Yeah, and I don't know how long he's going to be out for. I always like how they can absolutely hide this. At least this one actually got out on a Thursday and didn't surprise us on Saturday morning. But yeah, really, really cold weather in the. I guess is it at Notre Dame or is this one of those off-site type games? Because it looks like it's going to be 30 degrees and maybe an under might be the look now.
Yeah, I believe it's at Notre Dame. Brandon Wimbush will be the quarterback. Also, when someone's asking when's the Football League show, the Football League show will not be on this week or next week. There is no football leagues. The FA Cup is going on this week, so there's no League One, there's no League Two. So Flash and I just decided to scrap the show this week, so there won't be any Football League show. Everyone have a great day. Thanks for checking us out today here on the right side of campus. We'll be back tomorrow. Tim Tebow, Donnie, do you want to mention that, or we want to wrap that up?
Yeah, real quick, I have a little bit of thoughts on Tim Tebow here, and the only reason being why, Jeff, is because the Mets are so broke, Jeff, as a franchise. They're not interested in Manny Machado. Imagine this, a New York City team, Jeff, with a lower payroll. Manny Machado, they don't want Bryce Harper. You know how they're going to try to get people in the seats, Jeff, instead of signing good baseball players? We're going to put Tim Tebow in AAA,
yeah.
and he might be able to come up and play Major League Baseball. What a stunt, what a prop, and it's a shame because I'm a Philadelphia Phillies fan, and I love the destruction of the New York Mets. Jeff, you're a Yankees fan. You have to sit back and absolutely laugh at a small market operation that is the New York Mets that are just trying ridiculous promotions to bring. Watch the smoke and mirrors, Jeff, right? Hey, by the way, guys, Tim Tebow is going to come up for in May to play center field in this ball game. And by the way, we're not going to be able to pay Jacob deGrom or Syndergaard. We're going to sell him at the trade deadline. Tim Tebow is here, folks. That's awesome for the Mets, man.
Yeah, what a weird organization. It's funny. I saw someone tweet, Donnie. It was kind of fucked up, but someone tweeted, I hope they have an ISDN line long enough to get into Carton's cell. Maybe they could put him down in FCI Butner and he can interview Bernie Madoff. And how good would that podcast be, though, if they could somehow make that happen?
Yeah, well,
So
Bernie
Billy
would
Walters
say, I defrauded people of billions. You only did like 7 million.
Yeah, I'm the man in this prison. Just go sit in your fucking corner, bro. Oh, that's funny. But no, it's not funny. It really isn't. We think of his kids and family, and it's too bad. But everyone have a great day. Thanks for checking us out today. We hope you enjoy your day. We'll see you at 3:00. Make sure you check out the show. It's on the iTunes podcast area as well. You can listen to any show if you miss it. Have a great day. We'll see you Friday for a Football Friday here on SBR Forum. Have a great day. Bye-bye.